Okay, I filmed a lot of content today, but I felt like I did a really bad job of explaining what we were actually doing, so I'm going to be the narrator for today's episode. Okay, Flagstaff, Arizona. I literally had no expectations for this town at all. Honestly, sometimes I forget that it's even in Arizona because it sounds like it's in New Mexico. It has like 70,000 people, but like what I'm looking at right now, I feel like we're in like a town of like 20,000 people. I don't know where all these people live, but it's just like, seems way smaller than 70,000 people. Very interesting town. It just seems like a big mountain town. Honestly, it's not that nice. Yesterday we went to the Grand Canyon. We spent about 2 hours there. We drove up from Phoenix, took an alternate route, got to see a lot of cool sights thanks to taking that alternate route, a really cool drive. And then we headed back from the Grand Canyon after spending about 2 hours there and went to Flagstaff, Arizona to stay for the night. We got rested up in Flagstaff and left the hotel around 9:30. Just like that, our Flagstaff adventure is over.
Dad.
And then we headed south to Sedona, which was the goal. We hopped on A89 or 89A, one of those two, and we took that south to Sedona. And it was without a doubt the greatest drive I've ever been on in a car. It's really hard to show the scale of these switchbacks we went down through a video. It was one of the craziest driving experiences I've ever had. It was beautiful. We're driving along this road. There was a lot of pull-offs, and then my dad sees a pull-off about 500 yards ahead, and he's like, okay, we're stopping here. He like slams on the brakes, pulls off to the side, and it was a great decision. Look at that bridge. This quite possibly might be the coolest bridge I've ever seen in person. Look at it. We were not planning on stopping there. Dad was just like, let's pull off on the road, and then it ended up being that. Great decision. After that first stop, we headed south into Sedona. We stopped there to use the restroom, but other than that, we didn't really stop. Then we went to the main event for the day, I guess you could say, which was our hike. Now this hike was Dome Mountain. First adventure of the day. An only 0.6 mile hike, but it's gonna be straight uphill, but we gotta do it because it's gonna be awesome.
This front pocket by the wall.
That'd be hell classic. But that would work better.
We've already made it up this high. You can see our car all the way down there. Red Jeep. Beautiful. This trail is pretty sketchy. We'll have to say that, but we're making it through. I think it's gonna be worth it. A very intense hike. Although I was extremely impressed that my parents made it up. Remember I was referencing like in earlier episodes about the struggles we've had with my parents on hikes? Well, today was no struggle at all. They persevered. It was awesome. We all made it to the top. Well, we made it to the top. Climbed that whole hillside. I'm actually impressed. It was probably one of the most rewarding hikes I've ever been on. It was a perfect challenge, really fun and enjoyable experience, and obviously a great view at the top. headed back down the mountain, put the camera away. That way we can go fast and I don't drop it because it's pretty sketchy going down.
Just put my hand like this, so if I need to throw it, get it out of my way, it's out of my way.
No, but I don't know that it's necessary. I think it's causing more issue with you.
So after stop 2, we headed back into Sedona, and then we turned south instead of north, which is where we came from. And then we went to this scenic lookout spot. I was expecting there to be a lot of people there. Well, it turns out we were the only people there. And then halfway through, there was this other family that showed up there. Get this is mind-blowing. They were staying at the same hotel we were in Flagstaff because we sat next to them at breakfast. Like, what? This is third stop of the day, scenic pull-off. Don't have to walk very far for the views here.
Why did it say landing?
That was a fun stop. And then we headed to Red Rock State Park, which once we got there, we realized it cost money and that the views didn't seem like they'd be that great. So we went on that and we moved on. Stop 4 didn't happen. We did have one more stop we wanted to go to. So we drove south into this town called Cornville, which might be one of the greatest names of all time. In Cornville, we stopped at a convenience store. This city had literally no idea that the coronavirus existed, so that was an experience. We drove east and got to our final destination, which was Lake Montezuma, which was, this lake just was naturally formed, and you know, there's not many bodies of water in Arizona, so that was kind of unique to see. The Indians had found this place and built homes around it and stuff like that, so they had all those ruins left.
Only 2 up there.
These ducks are like freaking attacking each other. And you know, it's just a big Native American site, which was pretty cool to see. Probably about 3:30 when we left there, and we headed back to Phoenix, where we are right now in our hotel room. So that was the trip within the trip. I felt like I got to learn the Arizona landscape, which was a lot different than I expected. You know, the whole entire state just keeps growing in elevation as you go north. And it was really cool to experience that. You know, there's big plateaus you drive on interstates on. There's big weird rock formations, there's snowy mountains, there's Grand Canyons, you know, there's just a wide variety of random stuff, and it's just a really cool drive. So if you ever get the chance to go to Arizona, I would highly recommend, you know, just driving around the state, because it's probably one of the greatest states just to drive around in.